хто долучився. Вітаю всіх, хто долучився до третього вебінару в рамках проєкту ecoeducation, який організований фундацією ecologist у партнерстві із Zero Waste Academy, а також за підтримки спонсорів. Цей проєкт вже триває три тижні. Ми вже проводимо презентації. Це третя презентація, третій вебінар у сфері environmental legislative або просто environmental issues. І в більшості слухачі з України, але курс інтернаціональний, тому я перейду на англійську і продовжу вебінар англійською мовою. Якщо потрібні будуть, якщо будуть виникати запитання чи коментарі, то можна буде або вмикати мікрофон, бо нас небагато, я думаю, ми сильно тут галас не влаштуємо, або писати в чаті. Я сподіваюся, що я буду бачити під час презентації. Okay, so my name is Anastasiia Chulkova. I am the ecologist, the member of NGO Zero Waste Society in Ukraine, and also I'm a research manager in Calidris, France. And the topic of this webinar is plastic problem. It sounds very general, but that is true, that the problem is important all over the world, and we will talk in general about plastic issues and the environmental problems which appeared because of plastic problem, and also we will talk about a bit about European legislation in this area and about Ukrainian legislation and the innovations in the law of waste management. I want to start with a question, and if it is possible, you can switch on your microphone or write. I hope that it will be visible in the chat. The question is very easy. What is needed for us, for people, for our safe and stable life in the planet, and also what is needed for nature? What is important? Just simple things like air, clean water, whatever. If you can propose your variants, it will be very good.
Yes, I would like to join this conversation. Very happy to see you and to hear you. And yes, I agree with you that there are not much simple things which are really needed for people, but sometimes it's not enough, unfortunately. And of course, to see and hear, to live in our world, of course, the human needs water, clean water, enough food, healthy food, and clean air, some place where to live, and all needs to be covered. Place where to work, how to earn money, and how to pay for all this, for everything what we need. But unfortunately, not everything we can pay for, and not everything can be bought.
Yes, that's true. I'm totally agree, and thank you, Luda, for joining our conversation. Yes, simple things which are like needed, and it's since all their life of the planet, of their since life in planet happened, we need water, place where to live, we need clean air to breathe. For human, it's important to be healthy. Also, the biodiversity balance is very important in the planet, because when we see when it is in unbalance, we can meet a lot of problems. And also the I'm sorry, I want to ask if you don't talk, switch on the microphone. Valery Zakharchenko, could you please switch off your microphone? Unfortunately, I cannot switch it off. Valery Zakharchenko, could you, могли б, будь ласка, вимкнути мікрофон? Я перепрошую, у вас вимкнений мікрофон. Ви хотіли щось сказати, чи... Все, дуже дякую. Okay, and yes, and we need the climate balance on the planet, because all talks are around climate change and so on, and it's really very important for the global life of our planet. But what is interesting, that all these areas of our life, all these things which are quite important, they are somehow connected with plastic and plastic production, and also each of them is more or less suffering from the pollution which plastic production and use of plastic gives to us. So talking about plastic production, I want to ask you again, do you know what is plastic made of? From what this material is made? If you have any ideas, please let me know. З чого виробляється пластик? Якщо ви знаєте, скажіть, будь ласка, можна вимкнути мікрофон?
Він виробляється з... Добрий день.
Доброго дня.
Це вас вітає Львів, Львівський університет, кафедра статистики.
Дуже дякую за те, що ви приєдналися.
Ну, ми хочемо, звичайно, ми не фахівці з виробництва продукції з пластику, але ми зараз цю проблему теж досліджуємо з точки зору виробників, обсягів виробництва, економічних проблем, пов'язаних з інноваціями в цій сфері. І з точки зору статистики, зокрема стандартних групувань, продукція з пластику виробляється з різних типів полімерів, в тому числі ці полімери можуть бути органічного і неорганічного походження. І от, власне, українські виробники суттєво залежать від органічних енергоресурсів, з яких виробляється пластикова продукція. Тобто це є, по суті, енергоресурси вичерпного характеру, і ми дуже залежні були від російських енергоресурсів, які використовуються в цьому виробничому процесі.
Так, ви цілком праві. Я погоджуюсь стосовно залежності, і дійсно це зараз побачив весь світ. Дійсно, пластик виробляється в більшості із органічних матеріалів, із ресурсів вичерпних, таких як нафта і газ, які зараз дійсно стала велика проблема, коли ми побачили величезну залежність від цих ресурсів. Дякую за ваш коментар. Yes, it's true that plastic is made of fossil and oil and gas, fossil fuel based, moreover, and yes, there are some bioplastic which we hear about now, but since these days, over the 99% of plastic is produced by fossil fuel based, oil and gas. The production of plastic is very connected with the petrochemical industry, and it's the part of their business plans. Plastic is the additional product of producing petrol, diesel, and it is very easy to produce, but it is very easy to sell also. And the growing of amount of plastic is very interesting for corporations because they can provide more and more plastic very easily, very cheap, but they don't take the responsibility for the end of life cycle, and not only the end, for the whole process, which is all the way connected with pollution, with using chemicals and so on. But what is, as for me, it's like unsmart that all the process of production, all this long chain of taking resources which are like endable, yes, and not for always, from all this process of producing plastic, of logistics, and in the end it is just disposable things which we use once and throw it away. Around 40% of plastic is single-used. It lasts not longer than months, and sometimes we just buy food in the plastic container to take it from the shop to table, and it could take only 5 minutes, and we threw the package away. And it seems not so smart to use resources and just throw it away after so short time of using. Coming back to the harmful influence of plastic, yes, I think that now it's not a secret and everyone knows the problem about land, water and air pollution by plastic waste. But I come again to the way of production plastic, that it is that it makes problems not only when it becomes waste, but it makes problems already from the very beginning, from the beginning of outputting and transportation the resources from the earth, the production of plastic, and then the life cycle end of plastic, which mostly ends on landscape or in the water. And also the plastic incineration, it's the way how to get rid of plastic waste, to burn it. But now it's quite interesting idea. A lot of countries take it in their plans of reducing plastic waste. They build incinerate factories, but then people realize that it's first of all, it's still not safe. There is no filter which will clean the air like for zero. It's still not safe, and it needs a lot of money, and it needs a lot of waste instead of using this resource like a resource again, not just burn. And also it's a statistic which is known that from all plastic produced from the very beginning to these days, only 9% of all this amount of plastic was recycled. 79% goes to the environment, to the water, to the landfills, and it's for ages. As far as you know, the plastic needs a lot of time to be destroyed, and still it leaves microplastic and nanoplastic pieces on the water, on Earth. So seems like something unsmart when you hear these numbers. The next slide is, I think that it is known for everyone, for a lot of people already, that in the ocean we have 5 gyres which provides the climate in the Earth, and these gyres they brings the plastic from the land to the ocean, and now we have already islands of plastic which are just floating on the water, but not only floating, the plastic is even on the very big deep. It is already found on the Marianski Zholov. So the plastic in the ocean is a well-known problem already, but it's difficult to fight with, because in the influence of water, sun, and salt in the ocean, plastic becomes like microplastic, and it is very dangerous for all marine species. For birds, for fish, for mammals, and now I think that it is also already known information that one of the islands in the ocean is the same size as Texas is. Texas is the second by the area, the second state of the United States. So can you imagine this? But it is only what is visible. And I would like to say that it's more not plastic waste, it is already plastic soup on the ocean. And you can realize that marine species, they cannot recognize that it is plastic but not plankton, and a lot of marine species are suffering because of this. What is the connection between plastic and our health? Yes, we can see that each stage of the production of plastic is connected with a lot of chemicals, a lot of harmful influence. The way we use plastic is also not good for our health, because, for example, when we wear synthetic polyester clothes, and when we wash it in washing machine, we can make like these micro pieces of plastic goes to the water, and then this water is used again in the water system, so that we can drink this water with the plastic inside. And the same is for food. Let's come back to the seafood again. If fish eats this microplastic, and then the person eats this, it becomes the part of our body already. And there is the research which WWF organized in 2019, that approximately the 5 grams of plastic are eaten by each of us every week, with drinking water, with seafood, and with salt. So it sounds very interesting and strange. We are not plastic eaters, and the influence of plastic for human body, it is still not clear, especially the long-term influence, because it happens quite recently. But we can realize that it's not the thing we need to have in our body. As for biodiversity, as we told before, it is very the most, like one of the most one of the ecosystems which are most influenced by plastic pollution. It's the ocean, and it's the marine ecosystem. And as you see, about 96% of marine turtles are suffering because of plastic. The same the information about birds and the sea mammals. As for birds, there is the results of the research made in Hawaii. You see that over 97% of chicks, like baby birds, and 89% of dead adult birds on the seashore of Hawaii was found with the plastic pieces in their stomachs. And the rejection balls of fish which were exploded, on 100%, they also have the plastic inside. Not only sea species are suffering, it is also bad influence, harmful influence for the landscape ecosystems, because mostly because of the plastic waste and because of the pollution of water. And it's in this scheme, it is shown how the plastic waste goes to each ecosystem and make influence on each group of species. And also it is the way how it comes to our bodies. But what is also interesting, that plastic is not only the issue of climate, of biodiversity. It's not only ecological issue. The plastic is also a social issue. And you see this, the landscape, the area where the plastic, and it's not plastic, where the fracking is going on. Fracking is a process of taking the oil and gas from the earth to the surface. And it's the area which is like already poor of water, of life, and it is also polluted, because the process of taking the resources from the earth is connected with using chemical components. So very often people which are living close by, they are suffering from the disease, from the pollution of air, of water, and they need to leave their places. And more often, these areas are located in countries which are like less developed, and people who are less protected are suffering more because of this. Also, what is the interesting issue with the waste plastic shipping? You know that more developed countries, they send their waste, their plastic waste, to the less developed countries, and those countries have their landfills full of plastic waste. But here, yes, here we come to the question which we just discussed a bit with Lviv, that plastic is also connected with the energy crisis all over the Europe, which happens now, and with the war in Ukraine. Now, world can see that we are very much connected with Russian oil and gas, and we are like unindependent in this, all the Europe, and it's not it's not a good sign. With this situation, we can realize that it is very important to be energy independent and to build clean infrastructure of energy with renewable resources, which could be taken from local area, not delivered from other countries, especially from Russia, which is a terrorist country. And if the world buy oil and gas from Russia, and this oil and gas is used not only for infrastructure needs, it's also needed for production of plastic, and we just became a sponsor of the war because we give the money to the country which is the terrorist. Here is the research made by Break Free from Plastic, which is called Winter is Coming and Plastic Has to Go. This research is quite new. It is made recently in September 2022. And here you can find the information about the using of oil and gas for production plastic. And the conclusion is very interesting. That if the Europe will refuse from single-use plastic production where it is possible, the Europe can save the energy, and it will not be needed to have cold shower to and to heat off to switch off the heater. Let's come to climate change. Here we can see the facts about production of plastic, that in 2019 it was like 198 coal plants emission. In 2030 it becomes more, and in 2050 it becomes even more. So we can see that the plastic production industry is a big polluter of the earth, and the growing up of this industry will make the global change closer and more visible as soon as it is possible. Yes, we have a lot of reasons to refuse single-use plastic, and to refuse our connection with oil and gas, and to refuse using resources. The reasons are more than 9. We can count more and more, and it's good that Europe and the whole world is already thinking about this solution, and they already found the solution, but it needs time to make it like to make it alive and to make the system work. Now we are living in the world where we take resources, we produce things, we deliver the things, we use it, and we throw it away. It's the linear economy which the world gets used to live in. Recently, the society started to think that it's not a good idea just to produce and throw away, and the recycling economy comes. The recycling cycle is better because you can use some resources several times, but in the end, it is still going to the waste, because usually when you don't think about the product before, like on the stage of creating, when you don't think how to create it better so that you can use the materials longer, then the recycling process becomes downcycling. From the each cycle of recycling, we lose the quality. But circular economy is the way of creating economy in which you create the things like long-living things. You have the aim to leave the product in the loop as long as possible, and the thing could be used many cycles, and then you have less amount of waste. You can read about circular economy in the 11 MacArthur Foundation website. I will leave the links which I have here on the above the video on YouTube. I hope it will be possible to do so that everyone can read more. What is good, as I told, what is good news, that like the Europe decided that yes, this is a good idea to put the idea of circular economy to the base of the waste management law. And in December 2015, the Commission, the Euro Commission adopted the Circular Economy Action Plan, which indeed gives new job opportunities. It gives the opportunity to develop, but also it is carbon neutral, and it save resources, it save things in the loop as long as it is possible, and in general it fights against the climate change and all these issues we have with environmental now. The base of the use of the like the base of waste management in the Europe is this hierarchy of waste management, which consists of different, like you see the 5 levels, but the upper level is more important than other, because upper level is reduction. So we need to transform our economy, our way of thinking, and our waste of management, so that it will be possible to reduce waste, not to produce and then recycle or do something with this, but reduce this waste when it is possible. It is possible with eco-design. When you produce things and thinking beforehand what will be the using of these things and what will be the end of life cycle. After, of course, the other levels are also important, but the lowest level is like the less important when you send the waste to the landfill. About the legislation, according to this, it is possible to read more in the internet about the several directives which were made in Europe. One of them, one of the legislative rule which is interesting for us according to the plastic is the European strategy for plastic. Already about 10 items of disposal plastic are forbidden in Europe. It's a single-use plates, cups, straws, forks, and also oxo-degradable plastic, which is, I think that now it's already known in Ukraine that this plastic has a special adding, which makes plastic not degradable, not degrade faster, but it makes plastic become a microplastic faster. And it's not a good idea. So it's already forbidden in Europe, and it will be soon forbidden in Ukraine. As the Ukraine is on the stage of Euro integration, this way of thinking and way of building the legislation is also taken into the base of Ukrainian new law, the draft of law of waste management, which was adopted on the 20th of June 2022, sorry. It's everyone knows the reality that now we are in the war, and it's the first priority to fight to win, but it's not possible to forget about other areas and about waste management area also, because we will meet even more issues after the war with waste management. But it's good that our authorities already adopted the draft of the law, and it will help us to create our legislation more smart and more circular. What the new law gives, it is putting on the base the hierarchy of waste management like we saw here. So it will be the same in Ukraine, that the first step will be reduction, but not recycling and not put into the landfill. Also, what is important that with the new law, the inspired responsibility of a producer will be going on, because before Ukraine was one of the not so big amount of countries where the producer of packaging of things have no responsibility for the product. Producer just create things, and then the customer is responsible for the waste. But it's not fair, because it's a producer who can think about the life, the ends, like the end of life cycle of the product. What is also important for us, like just private people, not authorities or media, we can do simple things already now with our own personal life. I hope that everyone heard about the zero waste idea. It's the like idea of refusing unneeded things to make the life more healthy indeed, and more environmental oriented. This hierarchy, it's like the pyramid, which seems to the hierarchy I showed you before. It is also like the upper level is more important. We refuse unneeded things. After we reduce those, we reduce the amount of things which are needed. But like, for example, if we have already 5 sweaters, do we need the 6th one? Reuse is about reusing things as much as possible. It's more about all these items, like you can use something which is single-used or something which is possible to use for a long time. It's like about plastic bottle and metal bottle. Recycle is still important. All the things which we buy should be recyclable. We can like vote by our wallet whether we want to buy things which are made from unrecyclable things or which are recyclable. And rot is the composting. It's a very important thing. It's like another additional topic, the organic waste, because there is a huge amount of organic waste created by people, but this waste could be rotted, and it could be helpful for our earth instead of damage which it gives now. I finished the presentation, and I can advise you some resources where you can read, watch, and listen the information we were talking about today. For the lawyers, it will be interesting to read about European waste law more. Here there is a link. For all who are here, I can send the presentation. I don't know if it is possible to send in the chat. To make it possible, you can write now on the chat your emails, and I can send the presentation directly to you, not to lose it. Повторю українською. Ви можете зараз в чаті написати свої імейл-адреси, і я зможу надіслати презентацію вам відразу після вебінару, щоб вона точно потрапила, і там будуть активні всі ці лінки, які зараз я демонструю. Ну і також ми будемо намагатися якось її викласти в вільний доступ. Also, what is interesting to see about the plastic production, about the story how things appeared, it's the short videos, like 5 minutes, in which you can watch quite interesting things. Also, I recommend you to listen Ukrainian podcast DIM. It is available in each platform, and it's also available in their internet, like the open access. And this podcast is made in the cooperation with Zero Waste Alliance Ukraine. It's also the organization which I'm working with. So I find this information very interesting to listen. And also here are movies which I also recommend you to watch. It's about the planet, like our home, and it shows us, from the one hand, it shows us the beauty of nature, the power of nature, and that people, they are like a part of nature, which the part of nature who need to be in the balance with nature. But from the other hand, you see the influence of human businesses and of like our life, how sometimes how harmful it could be for the planet in general. And then in the end, it is still our problem, not the planet problem. I don't like when people say that we need to save the planet, because we actually, planets don't need to be saved. It is just need to be in the peace and in the balance. We need to save ourselves. So now I thank you for the attention, and if you have any questions, you can ask, or if you have any comments, you can also open your microphone and let me know. I see in the chat. Oh, okay, thank you. I see the emails in the chat, and I will copy it not to lose. Up. Yes.
Yes. Good to see you. Thank you very much for such an interesting information and webinar. And what I want to share what was interesting for me is some tips which I was surprised of, that for plastic is not only the problem for climate change, it's also a huge consumer of energy, which could be used for more useful and peaceful things.
Yes, that's surprising, but it's true.
Yes, yes. So thank you very much. I will be looking forward for presentation, and see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for feedback. I'm glad that it was interesting. And if someone else wants to ask or add something, we have even 10 minutes. We are in time today. We can be in contact. From the very beginning of my presentation, I gave the email of mine. I can send it in the chat again. And it will be possible to have the communication if you have something, some questions or comments or propositions. Yes, it's in the chat. Okay, if for now no questions, we can finish our webinar today. I hope it was interesting for all. If it is possible, we can do the like it's also already our tradition. We can do the common picture. If it is possible, we can. I ask you to open the cameras and we will do the print screen. Якщо у вас є можливість, будь ласка, ввімкніть камери для спільного фото. Сподіваюся, було цікаво сьогодні поспілкуватися. Так.
Дуже цікаво, і обов'язково напишемо на емейл, який ви нам надіслали, інформацію з пропозицією до співпраці разом зі студентами.
Супер! Чекаю з нетерпінням.
Добре.
Дуже дякую. Дуже дякую всім, хто зміг сьогодні долучитися. Ми завершуємо. Всім бажаю тихого, мирного дня. Нехай пошвидше з'являється зв'язок та електроенергія. Зараз ми вже знаємо більше про зв'язок пластику та відсутність електроенергії зараз в Україні. Ось, тому так, працюємо на усіх можливих фронтах.
Дякуємо.
Все, гарного всім дня, до побачення.
Дякую, гарного дня.